Okay, let's start. So, welcome. I hope you have fun so far at the SUSECON. It's day 2, afternoon, almost done. So that means that if you fall asleep, no worries. I will do the same session tomorrow morning, so it's easier to follow. I'm Alessandro Festa from Zero to the Clouds. Basically, this session is around what I'm doing, our strategy around accelerators and machine learning. So we will go through that, and we will try to give you basically some hints on what we are doing. Just a couple of things. Yes, I'm the author of this successful book, How to Talk Like an Italian. Yeah, that's me. Well, I'm a senior product manager. So beside the fact that probably I've got the longest job title ever, that basically was, well, HR was supposed to call me like Senior Product Manager for GPU and Accelerator and Machine Learning and Artificial Intelligence. We actually made it, convinced them that maybe we should short a little bit that job title. That is what I'm doing. So I'm responsible for everything about accelerators, graphic accelerators, so mainly GPUs, but FPGA, OpenACC, and everything else, and artificial intelligence initiatives at SUSE. Besides that, I'm Italian. That means that I'm really open to questions, so please ask me whatever comes to your mind. Don't ask me about the topology of the hotel room, because that's another story. But stop me at some point. I'm not sure that 1 hour is enough for me. It's like I can keep talking and talking and talking. And that's actually a serious warning. So, and well, if you don't understand me, just follow my hands. That's absolutely. So I got a small agenda. Let me pass on the other side. So it's a little bit better. So we will talk about GPU and AI. We will put in context the GPU and AI market right now, and in the context of SUSE as well. We will take a look at the market outlook and where we stand as a company into this market. And then I will give you the strategy about SUSE, what we're going to do, what actually we are already doing right now. And finally, there will be, let's say, a call to action for everyone. Obviously, I put a Q&A, but as said, feel free actually to stop me, ask questions during the presentation. Absolutely, I love that. I love the interaction, so go for that. So let's start, first of all, by why a product manager for GPU and AI? Because that is actually a serious question about why SUSE at some point hire a product manager, build a team to work on these topics. Well, GPU probably is more natural, because if you're working on the infrastructure, if you're working on a data center, you probably have the needs to run accelerators on your servers. That is more natural as a question why you should have a product manager there. But why about artificial intelligence? Well, actually, because we recognize that the market is changing. Those data comes from Gartner are pretty impressive. 20, 23, 40% of our teams will use AI, augmented automation. You start hearing more and more the terms RPA, robotic processor applications. That, well, it's funny because I was saying yesterday that it's pretty funny because RPA is nothing more than an automation script. It's been there since ages, but now it's like, AI. But actually, that is what it was already. It's just augmented. It's just a little bit more smart. It can learn from itself. But in the end, what it does is just automate something that a human used to do. It's a repetitive task. And RPA is becoming more and more frequent in our daily job. It is not only that. Predictive analytics, the capability and the need in our infrastructure, in our data center, actually to predict failures, to predict if a component of our infrastructure is degrading or is going to fail soon. And we need actually to be proactive into that. Why? Because our data center is more complex, it's enlarging, because probably it's not anymore just on-prem, maybe it's split between on-prem and cloud, maybe into multi-cloud. And technically, we are not able actually to follow everything, because the IT department are not growing organically with the complexity of a data center. The moment I will hear someone telling me, oh yeah, my company IT department, oh we got infinite resources. Well, whenever we want to hire someone, we just ask and then we hire someone. Usually the conversation you have is like, yeah, We'd like to have someone else, but no way. And so we need help. We need help from some automation, something that actually is not human. And that's why I actually recognize these needs. And that's why SUSE is starting to invest on this field. But it's not only that. The numbers are impressive. I found this number that actually they are pretty conservative. So 35.8 billion in 2019. That is impressive. And that, to me, doesn't mean only that, oh, there's a lot of new budget there, but it actually means to me that we in IT, we need to manage that. To make those numbers, we need to manage that. It means that everything there means that something will appear in our infrastructure, in our data centers, in our job, and we need to cope with that. Someone from the business will ask us to include this into our daily job, and we need to be, well, basically we need to be prepared, but we need to have tools to do that. 5 years ago, no one of us ever heard about the data scientist. Now they're a reality. And what a data scientist does, well, primarily, besides his job, is to come into IT and asking for tools. Oh, I need to run a machine learning framework. Good. What do you need? Oh, by the way, I need a container, I need a Kubernetes cluster, I need a server, I need something else, and that's more job for you. So let's put in the context of our conversation. So the GPU market. GPU market is growing. Well, GPU is accelerator market. It's growing dramatically. It's 80 billion by 2014 USD dollars. It's everything is running on GPUs. Everything is running on accelerators. NVIDIA just releasing the Jetson. That is basically a nano device that runs a graphical card on it. That means that I have something that is so small, is an edge device, that I can run a GPU on it, and then I can run a machine learning frameworks there, and I can literally deploy thousands of them easily. So we moved from what it was yesterday. We got sensors to get sensor with accelerators. That means those smart sensors are becoming more powerful and powerful and powerful. And it's funny because it's the same story about mobile phones. Oh, they went on the moon with an x86 or less. Oh, I got a phone that is like, what, 100 times more powerful? It's the same story. Do you remember when we got sensors that actually can measure the temperature and that's it? Now they can do everything. And again, this is complexity that is added to our job because we need to support that. Because on what they are running an operating system. And what the operating system needs, well, possibly is SUSE. So we need to actually to cope with that. What about the AI market? The AI market is even more impressive. It's growing even more impressive. Again, those are pretty conservative as a numbers. So they're like 50 billion by 2017. It becomes 300 by 2026. That is a 38% growth. That tell us that we cannot avoid that. So let's see SUSE market. So as I said, we need to focus. We need to understand how we can propose that. But at the same time, we cannot afford it to go there in the market and just throwing stuff to you. It's not about, oh, let's install 100 machine learning frameworks and tell you that, oh, there's that 100 packages, go for it. We need to be consistent with our DNA. We need to be consistent with what we are producing today. So we basically divided in three-step approach. You will see more better in a minute. So the GPU enablement, the AI support, and what we are doing as a AI at SUSE, so inside our products. So let's start from the GPU enablement. Well, here's the first step. As I said, there are multiple accelerators in the world. There's just a couple of partners out there. What we are doing is working with those partners to get their technology supported inside SUSE Linux Enterprise, inside our product line, so that it's out-of-the-box supported. Now, obviously, some of those partners, they don't offer an open software solution. They require you to accept a license there. So from our perspective, actually, this is not really something we can work easily because we are in a full open source company. So we cannot tell you, well, in the case of NVIDIA, for example, I cannot tell you, well, I will provide you out-of-the-box the drivers in SUSE Linux Enterprise because that would violate the GPL. It will violate the way I'm on the market. So we need to figure out how to do that. And we will see in a minute. Then we need to support artificial intelligence. That means, again, not only support the machine learning frameworks, but try, and this is quite a bold statement, try to become the de facto operating system for machine learning. Well, I'm basically asking you a question around that. If I ask you what is the development language de facto for artificial intelligence, you probably immediately can answer me with, oh, probably it's Python. Because when I go for machine learning frameworks, that is what I'm using. If I'm asking you, for example, about the accelerators that you use to run neural networks or machine learning frameworks, again, it's pretty easy that you probably come back to me with AMD, with NVIDIA. But if I ask you about the operating system, well, I'm honest and transparent. You probably come back with Ubuntu. So that is the door, please. Go away. No, but I'm serious. You come up with Ubuntu. Why? Well, because if I open any software worldwide, I will find at least a line that says, oh, if you want to install an Ubuntu, here's how to do it. Fine. But my question was different. My question was about a software, an operating system that fully supports the machine learning frameworks. That means that you are covered also from the support standpoint. So you are an enterprise. You're an enterprise customer to me. That means that if something's break, you know who to call, and you know that you are covered. That is a completely different story. And if you think of that in terms of a data scientist, in terms of a machine learning frameworks, in terms of artificial intelligence, you don't have an answer right now. You know that you can install it. Fine, you can install TensorFlow on SUSE Linux Enterprise even today, but the difference is that that is a package and is fully supported. In the case of Ubuntu, that is just the documentation that says you can install it. There's no enterprise support on that. So that's our first goal. And again, we are working with our partners. I put the most important there, to make them, well, actually to make available SUSE Linux Enterprise, SUSE Linux HAPC, and etc. With machine learning framework supported there, so that actually you are covered from that point of view. And then finally, inject artificial intelligence at SUSE. That for us means many things, but mainly it means that AI should be something that just works. Our idea basically is that AI is not a solution and is not a product. It's a commodity and should be a commodity for you. Should be something completely transparent that is simply is in the product, that optimize the product, that optimize your workload, that make your life simple, but is completely transparent to you. It shouldn't be something that you have to install, configure, and use it. And that's what we try to achieve, and that's our goals. So that means that do not expect at some point to see, SUSE AI product. That also means that I just did this claim, and like in 6 months I will come here and say, oh, by the way, this is SUSE AI product, and yeah, you know, this product manager lives like that. No, but seriously, it's like probably what you will get is like I just installed SUSE the Ceph storage. And Ceph storage is going to auto-healing. It's going to phone home, provide us analytics so we can predict failures, stuff like that. And probably you're wondering like, oh, and when will it come out? Well, next version of Ceph. That's it. It's already there. It's just work. So this is completely fake. This is a typical Italian way to keep attention. No worries about that. Maybe. Okay. So let's see the technology trends shaping the world. AI, we said, AI is one of the big waves in our world. And we need actually to get there. But actually, if you look at those tech trends. Every tech trend is injected with AI. You're talking about autonomous vehicles. That's AI again. You talk about big data analytics. I just finished to say, well, using analytics to predict failures. That's AI again. Well, 3D printing is another story, but okay, at least in every presentation, I think someone needs to say blockchain, but then I stop there. But I probably can say blockchain twice, so that makes me like in the top 10 of a presentation today. But again, if you look at that, every single trend is probably somehow touched by the AI, especially cybersecurity, cloud security. So that is there. We are there. We are everywhere. So how we can go there from an open source perspective, from a SUSE perspective, in a simple steps? Well, first, using our partners' ecosystems. That is where AI is built. We are not building AI. Our partners are building AI. They are building machine learning frameworks. They are building AI platforms. We are leveraging them and enable them through our product, through our solutions, actually, to give you the tools that you need to run your business. And so, here's our strategy. 3-step approach. Accelerate. Simplify the way you enable GPUs or accelerators in your environment to use it. This is the foundational step. The foundational step is about how can I access to the hardware layer to build on top of it what I need. And this is a way to accelerate your business, to accelerate the way you bring AI into your company. Adapt. We said, and we will go more in deep in that, about be the de facto operating system is not just about supporting accelerators. It's about supporting also the tools, and in a way actually that makes sense, that bring value to you. And finally, inject. If we did those 2 foundational steps, then we can do the 3rd step, that is about inject AI in our products. And we started to talk about just a minute ago. So what means accelerate? First of all, accelerate means be able to make in a simple way the use of an accelerator inside your computers. So let me translate this. We are not reinventing the wheel here. I'm not doing some magic around that. I'm just making simple for you to install a driver. That's what I do. That's what SUSE does. That's our business. We make simple things, so you speed up your job. I will come back on the other 2 in a minute. What does it mean? Let me just move a couple of slides. Well, think about you enable a module called Partner Hub. This module basically lists a series of third-party certified providers, eventually that actually offer a driver for accelerators like NVIDIA. You basically select them. Because they offer a closed software, you accept the EULA, and then you click Install. That's it. It will recognize your graphical card on your machine, it will install the driver for you, and that's it. And you're ready to go. And we can basically apply Partner Hub to many use cases. Could be the drivers, but could be also other technologies. Other providers actually offer other technologies, like, for example, CAFE2, that is machine learning frameworks. That is a way to accelerate your stuff. That is a way to accelerate your AI project. It's a simple way to click, install, done. Let me come back. Maybe. Yep. Ooh. Okay. So, first step, make it simple. Now I can click install. That's it. Then I move to the second step of our accelerators. If you are able to install the driver easily, what I expect from you, you provide me an image in the form of a VM or a container, GPU enabled, that I can play with. It's a playground. It's the first layer. And then how can I provide these containers or these images? Well, I can provide you these images as the cloud providers, as cloud providers are doing today already. If you go to Microsoft Azure, you will find that they offer an image called a data scientist virtual machine. It's nothing more than an Ubuntu machine with a bunch of machine learning frameworks pre-installed there. And that's it. You choose the size of a machine, and you start to run it. And it's linked to a GPU, and it works. We basically are working on the same strategy. What's the difference? Again, the difference is that is an Ubuntu machine. That means that you don't have any particular subscription there. If you go for less and eventually you subscribe to the developer SUSE program, you got 1 year subscription covered. You can start your project almost for free. And after 1 year, you can choose if you want to run subscription or not. We can do the same on-prem, absolutely yes. Container, even more simple. Cast 4, it will come out actually with a bunch of containers, GPU enabled, that actually already have machine learning frameworks installed there, ready for you to go. That again means that you basically do not need to do anything. And again, there will be based on less. That means that, again, you are covered completely from support, end to end. So this way, you can accelerate the starting of your project or your project in your company in a pretty easy way. But then you have to move naturally to the second steps. That is about everything else that is there. Well, I just said, well, I got all the pieces here. I'm starting to move into the pieces. I got the virtual machine and containers. I got the solution to manage them. And now I got containers and virtual machine that actually recognize the GPUs on accelerators at the hardware level. So actually I can leverage it through Partner Hub, as we said. Then I move to the next step, adapt. So what it means to become the de facto operating system. So there are probably like almost 1,000 machine learning frameworks today. It's like they're growing and growing and growing. Some of them are just flavored than other machine learning frameworks. Even worse, machine learning frameworks changes almost every day. TensorFlow 2.0 is coming out, is an alpha. That means that probably in July we will get like 2.1 or something like that. There's no way to cope with that. That means that when you inject AI in your project, your data scientists need to choose the version of a specific machine learning framework they are going to use, and they expect obviously us to support it. It is a challenge. It's probably not solvable completely. Why? Because if I look at the way SUSE produce and provide you your tools today is on the base of a package. But make a package that changes based on a technology that changes every 2 weeks is almost impossible. It would mean that I need to produce a package almost every day. So what we are going to do is basically create a sort of dual channel. You got the most important machine learning frameworks that will change over time, obviously. A list of the most important in a form of a package. That's what we support, specific to a specific release of those machine learning frameworks. And then you got the edge channel that is about the latest version of these machine learning frameworks. That it will be not in a form of a package. It will be simply guaranteed that it works on this specific operating system. On /15 SP1, then we will tell you that TensorFlow 1.12 is in the form of a package and is fully supported, while if you want to go for TensorFlow 2.0, we can guarantee it works, but obviously we cannot support it yet. It's just a question to balance what we can guarantee you and with what is changing every day. But at the same time, is a way to guarantee you that everything is there, everything is ready for you. So we did say that enablement, we set up the machine learning frameworks, and then we go to the third step. That is the most important step for us. It's about giving you a simple way, well, not you, but your data scientists, a simple way to use our infrastructure, hiding the complexity from it, and use simply their tools. What it means? Well, I can tell you a story about another vendor that I already named a couple of times today, but just because that was pretty impressive to me. So we were like a couple of weeks ago at NVIDIA GTC, and they were basically running a session about how they use their technologies, Juju and Kubeflow, basically to create a playground for data scientists. And honestly, I'm really transparent. It was good. It was absolutely good. From a technological standpoint, it was really good. The problem was that the guy that was giving the presentation, he typed for 1 hour command line just to get to the point where supposedly the data scientist was in a position to start his job. Again, from a technological standpoint, as a technologist, was absolutely brilliant. But there were some data scientists in the room, and they raised their hand and they say, well, I got the picture. And the picture that I have is that all this stuff is great, but it's too complex for me. I'm not a networking expert. I'm not a DevOps. I'm not someone actually that type command lines because I have no clue what I'm doing there. I can follow documentation, good, but that's not my job. My job actually is to build a neural network, build math, and do that. So I cannot spend my day trying to figure out what I am to doing on my laptop just to working. Even worse, on a production line. So that's what we are going to do. We are building a simple way to add complexity. That means in a form, right now is in a form of a Jupyter notebook. If you don't know what's a Jupyter notebook, I can explain. I see silent, like someone nodded, but so Jupyter notebook is a simple way to offer, let's say, a web dashboard that recognize kernels like Python, like machine learning frameworks. You can install it for you. And then, as a data scientist, you can actually build your algorithm, your network bears, and you can use them, testing them. It's not a test environment, it's a playground. Once you are satisfied, then you can actually move them to your infrastructure to test them against a real data set. So it's pretty simple, but it's just focused on the work of a data scientist. So think about the Jupyter notebook in a way that the data scientist simply says, I need to install TensorFlow, that's it. Whatever will happen after, doesn't care. What will happen is that we will automate the installation of it. Maybe we will deploy containers, maybe we will deploy directly on the operating system. If it need to be scaled, because the data set will be greater than X, we will scale the containers. Or eventually at some point we will tell him that, oh, I need to move this, or the data science will tell us, I need to move this to the production, to the QA, to something more powerful from a computational standpoint. And he will do that for him in an easy way. Just click and done. And that's what we are going to do with when we say adapt. Because that is what we say also as a SUSE. We say we adapt, you succeed. So the thing is about data scientists doesn't need to know everything. DevOps, sysadmins, they need to know and they need to manage it. But from that point of view, we are focused on data scientists here. And we don't need to have them focus on something else that is not simply writing the machine learning project they're working on. And then finally, we got on the third step. Again, just this slide is just to show you that, again, we got every pieces in place already. Because when I say that we can hide the complexity, it means that we already manage everything there. So we know how to make it. We know how to automate it. Think just as simple tools like SUSE Manager. Actually, SUSE Manager job is actually to deploy patches, to deploy on your infrastructure and manage your infrastructure. So it's pretty easy for us to hide your complexity to anything. So I say, well, the natural step will be the last step. Inject AI at SUSE. Ceph 7 will have a, let's call it the phone home capability. Ceph 7 is targeted for next year. That means that we provide analytics back to us. That means we will be in a position to analyze those analytics and eventually apply machine learning to it, and then we will be in a position actually to predict failures. We can predict that. What we will do with once we can predict failures, well, the easy way is just call you back and tell you, oh, your storage is going to be degraded because you're using files instead of an object, or this part of the storage, software-defined storage, is going to fail, so you have to fix that. The ultimate goal, well, we'll be in a position at some point actually to automatically fix it for you. But that's just something that is going to happen. Think again, SUSE Manager. We already have a prototype that basically can apply to decide how long it takes a patch to be installed. So we are already working on that. Don't think of the three-step approach as a separate steps. They are actually happening at the same times. I cannot share what Sumit actually is working right now, but Sumit is one of our developers and is absolutely doing amazing stuff. By the way, if you did not follow him on a session, I think you get another session tomorrow, is that right? Yeah, you should go there. You can learn basically everything about GPUs. I will be there. Don't ask me why at this point. Let's say that maybe I should learn something. But so that's the natural step, the third step. That provides us basically, well, again, what we are doing. We always been the lead in technology. We're always leading the technology. This is just a slide to remind you who we are. We were basically the first in all these things. So we would like to be the first, well, not the first to doing AI, because already others are doing, but doing AI properly at the enterprise level. And we can do that because we are the leader almost in every market. So let me move to this one, that in the end is the most important slide ever in this presentation. That is the real roadmap. This is what is going to happen in the next months, in the next years. So by this year, you will get the Partner Hub, the GPU enablement. We mentioned it. So the acceleration. We are working on that right now. And we are going to release it. Possibly, we will release Partner Hub within SUSE Linux Enterprise SP1 GA. If not, if we miss that for any reason, it will be released immediately after. So that means that is already a reality. By the end of this year, and this is not a technological problem, but is more a problem of setting up the alliances, the right alliances with the cloud providers, and etc., and getting the time to publish the images, we will have, let's say, the data scientist images. That means that CAST4 will have the machine learning frameworks containers there in the registry. There will be virtual machine ready for you to use them. So it will be there. That is, again, the acceleration, the first step. 2020, Partner Hub will be expanded, and we will support more and more GPUs, especially in the realm of multi-GPUs and the heterogeneous GPU support. So in a case where actually you have AMD and NVIDIA together, and you need to actually translate a CUDA application into a ROCm application, and you need to use them that way. And then there will be the first wave of machine learning frameworks. Means, what I said before, adapt. Provide me the machine learning frameworks in the form of a package or in the edge channel as a simply supported. So you see that actually that when I said SUSE is really serious about AI, it means that we are actually moving really fast. We are definitely moving fast this time. We are going to provide you everything there. Data science virtual machine, there will be even more enhancement in the form of singularity. So we can actually use it on HPC. There will be probably running on ARM as well. So it will be basically cover almost every use case. And then we will continue. At that point, let's say between half one and half two of 2020, we will start actually to inject machine learning at SUSE. I just mentioned Ceph before, but it's not only that. So it will be something that it will appear. Again, you will probably not notice. You will have to read the release notes to spot it that, oh, by the way, there's this functionality. But because that is what we think, that it should be, as I said before, that it should be a commodity for you. Something that is simply there. You don't have to pay for AI. It's not a feature that you need to pay for. It's just something that appears in your product, makes your product smarter, and help you in your job. No worries, there will be someone else that will ask you to pay for AI, I'm pretty sure. But that is natural. I mean, we provide the tools to a partner. The partner probably can create a great platform for AI, and quietly enough, they can ask you to pay for this platform. What we do as a partner in the case is just enable this partner to get the underlying tools to run his platform. And then we will come to an answer. It's pretty funny because in the AI world, 1 year is really a long time right now. So telling what will happen in 2 years is almost impossible. Just think about, or just check where we were 2 years ago. You will see how it goes. And just to explain actually that when I say that we are working hard, that's a slide that shows, well, this is a SUSE Linux Enterprise SP1 with NVIDIA GPU enabled. And this is a container. I took the original container from NVIDIA just to be sure that actually was not fake. That is something I can pull from the NVIDIA cloud that actually is GPU enabled, is recognized under SLES. That means SLES actually fully supports GPUs right now. Now, what I don't have here as a screenshot, but I can show you to those that are interested, is that we have exactly the same container based on SLES, that it works exactly at the same time. It already exists. That means I can run the container based on SLES on GPU-enabled NVIDIA, in this case, whenever I want. For those that do not know too much NVIDIA, NVIDIA's MI is just a simple tool to check if the GPU is enabled and if you recognize it. On the right, you see my host. On the left, no, it depends on you, let's say. Yeah. On the left, you should see this is the same NMI, but from within the container. And as you can see, in my case, in my host, my GPU was running a process that obviously is isolated, so that actually the container doesn't see it and doesn't use it. And it's pretty simple. It's a simple command. In my case, it was just running bin bash and tell me what's going on there. Yep.
And that works just out of the box.
Yep. Yep. So the only thing that you have to do when you run NVIDIA is accept the EULA. But after the box, it works. That means that you start it. It will install basically for you the driver because you have to accept the EULA in that case. Once it's got, you're ready to go. This is the base container. What we're producing right now is the base container plus the machine learning framework. So you will get like TensorFlow out of the box, Kafka out of the box, Caffe 2. We're almost there from almost every machine learning framework. That means, again, that you just spin up. The good things is that this is less. So it's within the support contract you have. It's supported by us. If this breaks, you call us. That is pretty simple. That is adapt to your needs. That is a way to actually produce that. So this is less. So just a reminder, I forget actually to repeat the question because we are recorded. So the question is if this is a part of SLES or is it a part of PartnerHub. Right now, this is a part of SLES. That means that you will see probably this in CASP, for example. So I go to the CASP, I go to registry.suse.com, and I can pull a container GPU enabled. Then once it's downloaded, the only requirement you will have is that your host is GPU enabled as well, so you need to have the NVIDIA driver there. But that, again, is less, and it will work. It will be in the PartnerHub. Maybe yes. Not sure yet. The idea is that PartnerHub will publish third-party software, so it shouldn't be there. But PartnerHub concept is pretty similar to a marketplace in the end. Again, this container will probably be published also on the NVIDIA cloud. So it could be that at some point the PartnerHub will appear as part of NVIDIA cloud. But usually PartnerHub is more about the technology itself or the driver. The containers will basically pull out from something else. So that's basically what we are doing. And I hope you're interested in that. And with that, I'm going to the call to action. So the call to action is, let me just give you all the call to action. First of all, we are definitely really interested in your use cases. That's what we care about. Because we can think of everything. But if we don't talk to you, we will never know what's your needs. So that's the first call to action. Please come to us. Please come talk to us. I'm here all week. And just come, exchange information. We will have other follow-ups. More than happy to do that. More than happy actually to discuss with you eventually, even if you don't have really a use case, it's just an interest. Let me know. More than happy to get in a conversation with you. If it happens you are a data scientist or you have data scientists in your company, please, again, talk to us. We have a simple question that is like, what is your simple way to make AI? And I'm not talking about the frameworks. I mean, more than interested in the frameworks you use, but I'm more interested in the way you work, in the way your data scientists work, what they are missing, what they're looking for, why they need that. Because we are building that right now, and we want to build it in a proper way. And then, as I said, AI is a commodity, and everybody is expect to have them a certain degree in your products. But again, it's about what this means for you. Predictive storage is one use case. Predictive deployment is another use case. What are the other use cases you're looking for? I have some conversation where people is asking me about RPA. It's fine, but RPA could be really a lot of use cases. Tell me what's your use case about RPA, about robotic processor application. Sorry. I come from another company where we got RPA, that is robotic processor appliance, so I keep confusing. Sorry about that. But that's your call to action. You can find me at the Dev Zone. You can find me at the HAPC booth. You can find me around. Just stop me. Stop me and talk to me. I promise I will let you go in 1 hour or two. No worries about that. Oh, beers doesn't work with me. I'm sorry. That's the German side of a company. That I keep getting this. I mean, they always ask me why I don't drink. I'm Italian. I'm sorry. We drink coffee. But anyways. And with that, basically, I almost finished. So if there's any questions, please go ahead. Ask me. I'm definitely really interested in listening to you. I've got a question for you if there are any. Was it interesting for you? Was enough interesting? Do you need more details on that? Or it was good level details as an introduction for the strategy? If I say silence means no. Please provide the feedback. If it is on the part of 1, don't provide feedback. If it's on part of 5, it's okay. No, kidding. Provide feedback is absolutely useful. With that, if there are no questions, I thank you all. And for those that want to come back, I will repeat this session tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Thank you.